But I often see amateurs overthinking their swings, which translates into poor stroke production and just hitting bad quality shots. So your level, you don't never feel like your level is going up. So my goal here with this video is to not only help you improve your strokes, but also your thought process, so you can start focusing on the right things and actually get better on a tennis court. Now I want to talk a little bit more about like the stroke production, right? Not necessarily technique, we all hit the ball different, but a little bit more stroke production. Something that I see a lot, again, I'm always see amateurs playing, not even just like, you know, low level amateurs, like high level amateurs to almost like semi-pros. I think you guys often don't allow the racket to do what it needs to do, right? So if I turn here and I allow the racket to just like move from a low to high position forward a little bit more, I think amateurs, they try to think about their swings in like they break it down into 4 different places, and they're trying to place the racket in 4 different spots. Like a take back, and then the racket needs to drop, and then they're sort of bringing it here, and then they sort of pull it here because they want the racket had speed. And it sort of breaks down like the fluidity. I think I get a lot of comments on my strokes. It's like, oh, you're so smooth, blah, blah, blah. It's just because I allow the racket to sort of do the work a little bit more, and I want you to try to do that now. One thing I see a lot is amateurs trying to get more racket head speed, but they immediately bring the racket to the side instead of actually pushing it forward through the swing. I want you to try to push the ball forward and up through the swing a little bit more instead of immediately pulling to the side like that, just because you want more topspin, right? Again, I don't want this to happen too quickly. I want that stroke production. So meaning that if I'm turning, from here is my take back. That's all I need to do. After this, I'm only thinking about catching the ball in front. The racket is going to move naturally forward, okay? Here we go. So here's some of the issues I see. This is what happens a lot on the forehand. And people just try to like bring the racket to the side too early because they want topspin. They're just like, they're just bringing it to the side, or even if you play a little bit more in a continental here, it's still like trying to bring it to the side too much. And what happens is, if you bring the racket immediately to the side, see, like that, you end up not having a long contact. The ball doesn't stay on your strings for a long time. Now, the opposite of that, and it's something I want you to think about, is just 1 second, Char. I want you to feel like here at contact. See, as I'm making contact with the ball, I'm even gonna do here on this camera, I want the 6 inches before I hit the ball and the 6 inches after I hit the ball are the most important part, right? So getting low to high 6 inches before and moving high above the ball and forward afterwards, instead of like trying to bring the racket to the side. Low to high, pushing it forward. You see, the contact is going to be much longer. The same here on the back end. Low to high, moving forward. You don't need to bring it around so quickly because the racket will naturally go there. You don't have to like go, you just naturally goes around. Let it go around like with fluidity instead of trying to like go like that too quickly. So the difference of that is, see, like here, I'm just going to try to extend the contact. The racket will go to the side here naturally, right? But my racket first is moving towards the target, and then it moves to the side because it's impossible for me to hit like that. That's not going to happen. I need to hit it more forward, and then it goes around. You see how my racket is moving forward and up. So again, try not to break your swing down into a million different pieces. Here is the turn, right? I'm turning here. This is my backswing. From here, I'm only thinking about going forward and allowing my racket to move low to high, and straight into the target a bit longer, not immediately to the side. Okay, so again, turn, let it drop, go. See, turn, let it drop to the target. See, turn, let it drop to the target. It's not that difficult. Turn, let it drop to the targets. Here on the back end too. Here. So turn, let it drop. Racket goes to the target first. Pay attention to those 6 inches right as I hit the ball and go forward. Not where I'm finishing, but like right after my contact. How long the ball is staying on my racket. I want you to focus on that next time you're playing. Okay? Don't break your swing down into a million different things like that, right? Turn, and I gotta drop, and then I gotta go like that. No. Turn, Let the racket complete the loop, complete the C, complete the whatever you call Nike swoosh. I like it. And then it's going to be much easier. The racket will naturally go that way. See what I was trying to say, right? Not allowing the racket to boom, 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 building different things. Just as you turn your shoulders, that unit turn, okay, this is your take back. That's it. After that, we're just thinking about catching in front, catching with the racket, hitting the ball with the racket moving from a low to high position, but going forward, because then you're going to get that top spin that you want. You don't have to force it like that. Sounds good? Try to get a little bit smoother. All right, so if you feel at fault for overthinking your technique, totally okay. I've done it before. I still do it, and I have to catch myself from doing it too much. So here are some of the things that I think about instead of focusing too much on my technique, especially during matches. Obviously, when you're training, you want to think about it a little bit more. But if you're playing matches, there's no time for that. There's all sorts of things going on during a match. So here are the things I try to focus on when I'm playing that kind of take it away from overthinking my technique, and honestly making my game worse. So number one, very simple, it's paying attention to the ball, tracking the ball at all times. As he leaves my racket, it's getting to the opponent, especially as it's coming back to me. I like to focus on the bounce of the ball, not only just watching the ball, but watching the ball bounce, because that is going to really help with my timing and catching the ball in front of me. So next time you're on the court, maybe try to like track the ball a lot and track the bounce of the ball a lot, because your feet are going to move a lot more properly towards the ball. Number two is contact points, making sure that you're hitting the ball in front of you. I know everyone knows they have to hit the ball in front of them, and it's often difficult, but again, if you focus too much on what's happening behind you, you end up forgetting what's happening in front of you. And what's happening in front of you is the contact point. So make sure, you know, like I said on the video, like those 6 inches before you hit the ball and after you hit the ball, as with the racket moving low to high, pushing the ball forward and in front of you are super, super important. It's going to help you tremendously. No matter how good your technique is, if your contact point is poor, your stroke production and the shots that you hit are going to have low quality. So make sure you're focusing on the contact point a lot more. And number three, footwork, footwork, footwork. You guys know I talk about footwork all the time, but it's especially important as you're, you know, improving and getting better. You see a lot more upside from focusing on your footwork and then focusing on your technique. So shift your focus from technique to lower body. The goal is to always create the right distance, right? It's easy to have good distance if someone's just feeding the ball right at you at the perfect distance, but when you're playing a match, the goal is to hit away from you. Your opponent doesn't want to hit good balls to you. He wants to make you uncomfortable. And you're only going to have that feeling of someone feeding the ball right to you if you move your feet properly to the ball and you recreate that distance on your own. Like no one is going to do it besides you. So make sure you're focusing on your footwork a lot more, again, especially during matches, especially during pressure situations.